Welcome back to the channel. The weather in Wales has changed now. It's got cold. Time to fit heated grips to the Himalayan. Let's see if we can do it. I've gone for the Oxford Hot Grips Pro Adventure because they're the same size as the original Himalayan ones. Let's open the box and see what's in there. The reason I went for these ones is because they have the little button on the grip rather than having the mounted thing up on the handlebars, which I didn't really want because it might get in the way when I put other things up there. Also, these ones turn off automatically, so you don't have to worry about it draining your battery if you forget to turn them off. We've got super glue to glue the grips on. We've got a cable that's going to go to the battery, and then we've got two grips, one with a little hole, one with a big hole. The one with the big hole goes on the throttle side, the one with the little hole goes on the other side. The one with the little hole has got the button on to turn it on and off. First thing is to get the old grips off. Because this bike's got bark busters, I've got to take the bark busters off first just to be able to get to the end of it, and then take the weight off, slide the grip off. That's both of those off. The bark buster will just move out of the way. There's two ways to get the grips off. You can either just get a knife, slice along, peel it off, or you can try and save them, which is a bit more fiddly, but it can be done. You get a screwdriver, ram it up there, wiggle it all the way around and try and ease it off, and then you can keep your grips if you're going to need them again in the future. I'm going to try that. If that doesn't work, then I'll cut them off. Try and gently prise the screwdriver in, wiggle it around a bit. This is going to take a while. A little bit of WD-40 squirted up there, I'll just ease it, help it come off, but that'll have to be cleaned off really well afterwards to make sure the new grips stick. Get in there now. There we go. Oh, that actually wasn't too bad. But like I say, that'll need cleaning up really well before we put the new one on. Good, one down, one to go. Got to be careful you don't pierce the grip and make a hole in it. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. There we go, we've wiggled the second one round, nice and loose now, just comes off easy. That's all off my old screwdriver. Okay, we'll give those a clean up next. I'm just going to use a little bit of brake cleaner on a cloth and just give it a little wipe over. There you go, nice and clean. Now the new grip should stick on there nicely. Just going to file the edge of this off because the new grip doesn't seem to want to fit over it. So I've just filed around the edge gently. We'll just test fit it, make sure it goes on now. Yep, that goes on. And then hopefully it'll just slide over these ridges. If it doesn't, then I'll have to file those off, but it should be fine with a bit of force. Put the lid on the super glue. I'm going to put a bead of glue all the way along here, and then very quickly I'm going to slide the grip on. So I want everything ready. I'll hang that there for a minute. Let's do it then. Quick. Get that spin round to get the glue all the way around it. That's on, line it up where we want it. I'm going to have it about there so I can hit it easy with my thumb. And that's pretty much set. So you don't have long to do that quickly. That's both the grips glued on, so next route the cable roughly where I want it to go, and then I'll sort all that out afterwards. So I'm going to poke that, I'm going to follow the cable from here underneath, and then there's a little bracket there that you can go through. Just hang that down there for a minute. I'll cable tie all these afterwards. One from this side is going to come down, follow that cable. Again, that can go through that bracket and be routed nicely behind there. You've got to make sure when you do this later that when you turn the bars full lock both ways, that it's not pulling in anything, so make sure there's a bit of slack there for that. We'll check that later when I wire it all up. Okay, let's get the seat off, and then we'll work out how we're going to connect it to the battery and to those. Actually, what I'm going to do next is put the bar ends back on, because that's that done and could be forgotten about then. Then I'll route the cable to the battery. So bar ends next. That's that done. Good. Nice and easy. I'm going to take this bolt out from the back of the tank so I can route the cable from the front to the back to get it to the battery. Need a 10mm socket and a 10mm spanner. That'll come out from there. I'm going to lift the tank up and put a little block of wood under it just to keep it out of the way for a minute. Turns out you can't just take that bolt out and lift the tank up because the bracket's in the way, so the bracket's now got to come off to enable me to lift the tank up. 5mm Allen key to get those out. Saved it. 2 out. That's 3 out. That bracket can come off now. And hopefully I can lift the tank up and put a bit of wood under it. There we go. That should be enough to be able to see what I'm doing to get the cable where I want it now. There's a little bracket just in here. So I'm going to poke the end that screws into the heated grips in through there, and then I can wire that up in a minute. Fits perfectly through there. So we'll leave that there for a second. And then I'm going to route the rest of the cable under the tank and bring it out by that bracket at the back. It's quite fiddly getting these cables to go where you want them to go. So I've poked a cable tie through and I've taped the cables to the cable tie, and now hopefully I can just pull it through. And that'll route it where I want it to go. If that's going to work, that'll be good. Yeah. That's now coming out under the tank nicely. There we go. So I've poked a cable tie through this bracket, so I've taken that off, and then hooked it onto the end of the little terminals, and now I can hopefully just pull that through. There is a fuse that might be in the way a bit though. In the end I couldn't actually feed it through there, so I've had to take the bolts out. I took 3 out, that was enough, and then we could wiggle the bracket out of the way, feed the cable through, and next we can hook that up. Just got to put these bolts back in first. All these are 10mm. Back at the front of the bike now, I'm going to hook all the wires up for everything. So the one from the clutch side with the controller on it has got 2 pins, and the one to the battery has got 2 pins, so we can hook those up. So 2 pins to 2 pins, shove that in there tight, and then put the little collar on it. Do that up. That's giving you power to one of the grips at the moment. That's that done up. And then the other one with 3 pins goes to the other side, the throttle side. So again, there's a groove and there's arrows to line up. Give it a good push, tighten the collar up. And then it's just a case of cable tying these out the way, making sure that the cables aren't in the way of the bars turning freely. Do this up quite tight because I don't want any water getting in there. Good, I'll cable tie those in a minute. Back to the battery end. Okay, we can put this bracket back on. There we go. The 5mm Allen keys to go back in there. So it's done. Now hook up the battery. Oh no, hang on. Put the bolt back through to hold the tank in place. 10mm socket, 10mm spanner. It's got an inline fuse in it, which is handy, and we'll route all these and tuck them away nice and tidy in a minute once we've hooked it up. Make sure you put the right one on. Red, positive. Make sure that's nice and tight. Unfortunately, I suffer from a bad back, so I can't bend down and do things like this anymore. I have to kneel down to do it. Put that in there. That'll just bend a little bit, but that's fine. You can have a little junction box in here if you want. Oxford do one, and Heel Tech do a Thunderbox. Thunderbox? Something like that. But with these grips you don't really need it because it switches itself off anyway. But if I put anything else in here in the future, like a Carpuride or an Aochi or something like that, then I'll probably put one in. But for now, it's fine. So just put a little cable tie around these, and then that can all be tucked down in there. Just keep it out of the way a little bit. Tucks nicely in there. Okay, we'll tie this out the way, making sure that you've still got plenty of movement in the throttle. That's fine, it's not going to restrict anything. And it's not affecting the bars when you turn them. That's fine. Cable tie down here to tuck all these out of the way. Seat back on. Back seat back on. Under my bag. That's that on. And let's try them, see if it works. Right, press it once. Nothing happens. Right, press it and hold it to turn it on. Red light. Red's got to be the hottest then. You turn it on, it goes red, but you can press it again and it goes like white and blue. If you press it again, it goes blue. And if you press it again, it goes back to red. You can already start to feel it warming up. It's good, very good. That's it then, job done. I hope that's helped you. It's not the easiest job I've ever done, but it's doable. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one.